It's no secret that America is run by billionaires, but what if a secret billionaire is running America? That's right. It's recently been announced that a billionaire has given $130 million to cover the U.S. military payroll during the shutdown, but nobody knew his name, but we now have it. We're used to billionaires jumping out with their tummies like Elon Musk. We're used to billionaires like Jeff Bezos strutting with his gal pal. We're used to billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg losing at an MMA fight, but we're not used to a billionaire like Tim Mellon. No, Tim Mellon, part of the Mellon banking clan, a clan from Pittsburgh that reaches back over 175 years into the very depths of American history. A banking clan that may have had direct impact on the Great Depression. A banking clan that has made money on World War II, the Iraq War, and so many more. And why don't we know who Tim Mellon is? Well, I'm going to tell you because I opened up tabs on Tim Mellon. How many tabs?
Too many tabs.
Dick Chaney is dead!
Remember to smile.
Dick Chaney was dead to begin with. That's right. We just want to, before we get into the show, we just want to start out because we're recording this on the day that it was announced that Dick Chaney is dead.
Yeah.
It's election day, 2025.
Only hours ago, we awoke to the joyous sounds of trumpets from the sky.
I popped out of bed like the grandpa from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yep.
I literally removed my bed rot and I started doing a little dance. And that's how we're going to tell you, welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo sit next to each other at a table. And if you're looking at us on YouTube right now, you might notice something a little different. Something has changed.
Uh-oh.
In front of Mrs. P, usually there's a laptop. That laptop is usually full of research from something that she has studied voraciously over the week.
Not today, baby.
No.
Not today. Took a week off.
Where is the laptop, Mrs. P?
It's in the other room.
No, but where is a laptop right now?
There's a laptop in front of you.
Yes.
That's right, because you've done research.
I have done research because I fell down a little lore hole, and we all know what happens when I fall down a lore hole. I get really, really weird about it. It's nowhere near as fun. So I'm going to aggressively shout facts at you, probably for approximately the next 2 hours.
It's a different vibe.
It's totally different vibe. You're like, ooh, and then I'm going to boom him with this, and I'm going to do this. And I'm like, no. Are you prepared for how many deaths were caused by a man whose last name is Mellon?
Mellon?
Mellon.
Like melons?
No, not a fun way. None of this
way?
is fun.
What is a fun comedy history podcast?
Oh, no. We are fun.
Okay.
What's in this laptop? Straight up evil, babe.
Oh, no.
No, okay. I want to start with you at the very beginning.
Okay.
Okay? The very beginning is as of where I began.
Okay, where this started.
Okay. You know how last week's episode you started because you heard Argentina was getting $40 billion?
Yeah.
I heard the number 130 million. Okay, $130 million.
Yes.
And that is the amount of money that the president of the United States, Donald John Trump.
Ew, his name's DJ? Ugh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. DJ.
He's President DJ Trump?
Ugh.
Oh,
Worst
no.
DJ ever.
Oh, no. Hey, hello, everyone. It's DJ Trump. He sat in front of the press. Okay.
Cover your drinks at that club.
I'm on the ones and twos. So President Trump was talking about the government shutdown.
As one does.
All right. You've heard about the government shutdown?
No, what?
Okay. So the government, when it's shut down, federal employees don't get paid.
But they still have to work.
They still have to work. And the biggest sector of federal employees is the United States military.
Yeah.
We currently have 1.3 million. That's 1,300,000 active duty service members in the U.S. military.
Okay.
Okay. And then Donald Trump made this announcement while speaking to the press on October 23rd, 2025. I'm going to play it for you now.
Friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. He called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
I have a lot of questions.
You have a lot of questions?
Number one, who's writing checks like this? Like, we're writing a paper check for that much money? Wire that shit.
Yep.
Actually, knowing this president, it's probably like Venmo, so you can't trace it.
Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel. They sent it via PayPal.
Yeah.
I did a PayPal. It was, why not through crypto?
Yeah.
What about Crypto the dog from Superman?
No, I just had to write a paper check, and it's got like the grandma background on it. Okay, so first question, I can't believe it was a check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really a question. It's just me being like,
I don't know if I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I don't know if it's actually a check or if that's just verbiage that he uses because remember, the president famously is 79 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't still understand a lot of things. He thinks AI videos are real often.
Yeah.
Especially ones about himself. He's like, I did that.
He gets a check in the mail and it's like one of those fraud ones, and he's like, "We got a check."
Oh my God, we want Publishers Clearinghouse.
So then my other question really comes, like, if somebody pays money, a private citizen pays money to pay for troops,
Yeah.
is that not his army?
Yes, and that is exactly how the Roman Republic fell.
I'm sorry, what?
So you know how ancient Rome was a republic.
Yes.
Okay, one of the problems they had was that the generals that were in charge of each army, they paid the troops,
Okay.
not the government. Oh. So the Senate didn't pay them.
Okay.
All right. So the troops were, and famously, like Julius Caesar paid his troops.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, who is troop going to be loyal to? Well, the troop is loyal to hunger.
Yeah.
Troop is loyal to family money and silver and gold and all these different things.
Well, you're describing the cats that live in the alleyway when you feed them.
Yes, 100%. Or crows. When you give crows food, and then before you know
they bring
it.
you little trinkets.
Yes, and then you have a murder of crows
And then
that
they
protect
attack your
you.
neighbors.
Yes, and when Jehovah's Witnesses come for the front door, you go,
Not anymore.
get them, crows!
Not anymore.
Yeah, or just put up a pride flag. Either one works. Either one works. It also works on Mormons.
But the crows are funnier than
The crows are much fun. Crows carrying pride flags. Crows with trans-inclusive pride flags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Swooping in, dive bombing Mormons. Ah! Anyway,
Yeah.
what I need to know is, on ancient Rome, Julius Caesar paid his troops.
Okay.
While there was a bunch of issue with the money, so when he was like, "We're gonna march on Rome," bing, bang, boom.
Okay.
The troops were more loyal to Julius Caesar, than they were to the government. And that's how that fell. And then Caesar became dictator for life, got murdered, and then bing, bang, boom, we got Octavian becomes Augustus, and here we are all these years different later. And now
talking about old shit.
Still talking about old shit. But let's not talk about old shit. Let's talk about this mysterious benefactor.
Okay, yes, secret billionaire.
Because that was the whole thing. It was a secret billionaire, and a lot of people were really confused. Some people thought maybe Trump is lying.
Well, no, because we live in a time where all of our billionaires want to be celebrities.
Yes, 100%. And that was part of the part that was confusing. We've had guys like Elon Musk jump out and straight up buy elections.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos buy islands. How many with the islands? But in this case, a lot of people were looking around going, number one, it's weird that we've never heard of a billionaire being this quiet.
Yep.
And number two, is Trump even lying? Because Trump sometimes makes up excuses and lies to move money around.
Yes.
Which again is illegal because Congress is supposed to decide where the money is supposed to go. And Trump has come in quite a few times and said, no, I'm going to use that for other things.
Yeah.
And which is against the law. But again, laws aren't real.
Laws aren't real.
Yes. But it came out about 10 days ago. It came out that the New York Times figured out who this mysterious patriotic benefactor is.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, who is it?
Okay. His first name is Tim.
Okay.
And his last name is a fruit.
Banana.
Tim Banana?
I don't know.
You could have gone with Tim Apple. That was the joke I was aiming for.
Apple. Who's Tim Apple? I never heard of
It's
that
actually
guy.
Tim Cook, but during the first Trump administration, Trump couldn't remember Tim Cook's name.
Okay.
So he called him Tim Apple.
Yep.
And so everybody calls him Tim Apple. But this isn't about Tim Apple.
That's like very grade school coded. Like
It's 100%.
Somebody made a mistake once and then you're stuck with that
Oh,
nickname.
forever. Forever. We know because we already gave one on the after party.
Yeah.
We gave a grade school nickname to one of our new Patreon members, Just Jess. But anyway, it wasn't Tim Apple. It was Tim Mellon.
Tim Mellon. Why
Tim
does that
Mellon.
sound familiar?
Timothy Mellon.
Okay. Should I know who that is?
Okay, let's go down some things that have melon in the name, right? Besides like awesome gazongas, honk honk, there is no? Is that too much?
You know what? No.
No? Okay.
I'm voting yeah.
You're voting yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. For gazongas.
Clown misogyny.
Clown misogyny?
That's what it was.
Honk, honk.
It's like a silly clown doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, you can tell I've grown because I did that to myself. Now, Tim Mellon. Have you heard of Carnegie Mellon?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so what immediately are you starting to think?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the Carnegies who invested a lot of their money into libraries and the arts.
Oh, but before that, what did they do?
The barons.
Yeah.
The barons.
Uh-huh.
But they were the kind of barons that were afraid of the people.
No, they
No?
weren't. No,
Damn it.
no, they
I was really
weren't.
hoping.
No, you're talking through a lot of later stage propaganda.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of later stage propaganda.
Okay, so tell me about this.
Okay, fine. Tim Mellon is
Mm-hmm.
the fourth generation heir of a secretive Scots-Irish banking clan that has controlled the United States government since the late 1870s.
Okay. So, fourth generation.
Fourth generation.
Secretive Scot-Irish banking family.
Now you notice I had to put Scots-Irish in there.
Yeah.
Because when you say the secret banking clan that controls the United States
Yeah.
government, it immediately got real crazy down here.
Yeah.
But they're actually Scots-Irish. Do you know what Scots-Irish is?
It's when Scots and Irish are together.
No. Absolutely not.
I don't know what it
it's
is.
It's actually even worse. It is the
What's worse?
It is they are Protestant Presbyterian Scots who were imported into Northern Ireland to destroy the Catholic power base of the indigenous Irish people. They're also known as Ulster Irish.
Oh, okay.
Or Ulster Scots.
Yeah.
They are the reason there's a Northern Ireland.
Yeah, got it.
So his family immigrated over into Ireland sometime after the Tudor royal dynasty of England conquered big swaths of Ireland.
Got it.
All right. Probably during the Stuart reign, which were when the Scottish king and the Irish the Scottish throne and the English throne became united, creating the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably when his family went over there. However, his family then moved all the way to America in the 1810s.
Okay.
But we're going to get back to that because let me tell you a little bit more about Timothy Mellon.
Okay.
He was born July 22nd, 1942.
42.
Yeah. So he's a young man.
Oh, yep. Young.
Yeah.
He could run for anything now in politics.
Yeah. No, he would be, this would be a great time to become the junior senator of Wyoming.
For sure.
He is the son of Paul Mellon.
Okay.
And Paul Mellon's first wife, Mary Conover Brown.
Okay.
And he is the grandson of Andrew Mellon.
All right.
And he is the great-grandson of Thomas Mellon. Now, when Tim was born, he inherited wealth immediately as part of the Mellon family. Okay.
Oh, okay. So as soon as he comes out,
They just hand
him a bag of money, like a
he was handed a trust fund that was designed by his grandfather.
It's funnier if you do mine where it's like the sack of money where it's got the money symbol
with a big dollar sign on it.
Yeah, and that you know how the stork brings the bag with the baby. The stork comes back this time, but drops off money at the baby.
Yeah. So the difference is the big thing is all of his funny money.
His funny money.
All of his money comes from wealth that was started with the founding of the bank T. Mellon and Sons.
Okay, the Mellon Bank.
Yes, Mellon Bank.
Yeah.
This is the Mellon Bank family.
Got it.
It was later changed to Mellon Bank. That bank was founded in 1870, and the big thing to note is that unlike many other old money clans, the Mellons are still loaded. They're worth over $14 billion under some estimates.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So generational wealth.
We're talking about eyes wide shut party wealth.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about war crime. We're stacking war crimes wealth.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It's been 175 years
Have
since.
Dick Chaney over for dinner wealth.
Hey!
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Tim Mellon does live in Wyoming, where Dick Chaney was the congressman from.
Oh.
Yeah, trust me, we're about to start stitching some things. If I had a big board, if somebody hadn't taken my big board away from me, we'd have red string all over this
don't know
motherfucker.
where that board is.
So it's been 175 years since T. Mellon and Sons Bank was founded.
Okay.
During that time, the Mellons, at this moment in time, have never been richer.
Oh.
They've actually just been on the up.
Just
Almost the
always
entire
up.
swing, always up. The Forbes magazine stated that the Mellons have staying power. Of America's billionaire dynasties, only the DuPonts have had a longer run, But the DuPonts have nowhere near the power of the Mellons today.
Yeah.
The DuPonts really started to fall off in the 1980s.
They went
the
a
90s.
little cuckoo bananas.
They went nuts. The one guy bought a tank and killed a wrestler.
Yeah.
A bunch of the other ones started carving and selling off the company for parts to use as personal wealth. And typically what you have is these situations where after a few generations of massive generational wealth like this, they aren't usually able to hold on to it in this way. The Mellons are very, very, very confusing in that way. Now, the thing is about Tim specifically, Tim Mellon is very different than all the other billionaires you mentioned earlier.
Why?
Because he likes to stay secret.
Yeah.
He likes to stay secret. Let's go down the top 6 billionaires in the world
So
right now.
you're going to upset him by writing a whole episode about him?
Probably not.
No?
He doesn't like to be on camera.
Oh.
And in fact, when you go look
Well,
a picture,
I do respect that.
I know you. I know you respect not being on camera, but if you go and look, like if you go to his Wikipedia, the picture of him is super old.
Oh, okay.
It's from the 80s. There's 2 pictures of him.
Yeah.
One is from the 80s, and the other one was from like a corporate website.
And him high-fiving Dick Cheney.
There's none of of him high-fiving. Well,
all you say hi to make one.
Okay, there you go. Hey.
Huzzah, he's not bad after all.
but look at the top 6 richest men in the world right now.
All right,
okay, let's
great.
go down all of them. Number 1, Elon Musk, who owns Twitter and Tesla.
Lame.
Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, Twitch, and MGM, Metro
Lame.
Goldwyn Mayer. Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Instagram, Facebook.
The worst.
Larry Ellison, who owns TikTok, Oracle, and now Paramount through his family.
Oh, cool.
And then there's Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who own Google and YouTube.
Yep.
They are the founders of Google and YouTube, and so they still have a shit ton of stocks.
They're
in
cool.
them.
I love YouTube. Fingers up.
You love, yeah, we love. No, Larry Page and Sergey Brin have
No,
big.
we'll leave those out of there. They're super cool.
They're billionaires.
Hype button, baby.
Do no evil, right? That was their thing that they weirdly pulled out of their lexicon.
Yeah, they changed that.
See, all these guys have been very public about how much money they have. They're
Yeah.
very flashy, and we have this whole generation of
New
billionaires.
money.
There's not only just new money, but also just like this idea that they have to display their wealth because everything I've mentioned there is stuff where the idea of to build their money and to use their product is to show off,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's like that thing where they're like, what's it called? Like, fuck, I can't think of the saying. It's like wealth whispers, but the other one screams or something.
Wealth whispers, money talks.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's about how like people that are new money, they're really flashy and they like to show off. And they're like, designer this, big thing, rent out an island to marry my weird wife.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about flash, flash, flash.
Yeah.
Whereas really, truly wealthy people are very secretive and you don't see them running around in the same way.
Well, and the reason for that is because when you go all the way back to, think about this, go all the way back to 1870, the Mellon family has seen the rise and fall of literal dynasties.
Yeah.
We're talking about the death of the czars, the Kaisers, the overthrow of monarchies across Europe, the ending of the Chinese Empire, the fall of the Japanese Empire. The British Empire rose, the sun used to never set on it, and now it's just a collection of crumpled islands. All these different things. They have sat and watched and survived while being in the shadow of the Civil War. This is all what this one family has done, right? And the thing is Tim Mellon follows old money advice that has been summed up by his stepmother,
Okay.
a woman named Rachel Bunny Mellon.
Bunny?
Bunny.
Good old Bunny.
Bunny had a very famous saying about being wealthy.
What's that?
Nothing should be noticed.
Smart. Smart. Smart.
It's incredibly smart. And that's the reason why when you look into Tim Mellon, you will notice that there are very few articles about him. There is a wedding announcement in 1963.
Okay.
And there are occasional articles that are all really pinpointed on his really obsessive interest in trains and planes. Okay.
Okay.
But unlike other elites that have access to huge levels of power, Tim Mellon, until very recently, barely engaged in politics. Between 1996 and 2017, when they went through all of the rolls of how much money he had given to campaigns, he had given roughly $350,000 over all of those years.
Yeah.
I did the math. That works out to about $16,666.66 per year.
That's nothing. I know this guy doesn't tip at a restaurant either.
No, exactly. But this guy's giving just under $17,000 a year.
So when did he start big donating?
2018.
Do you think? Because again, this guy's age.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he got brainwashed by Fox News?
I think there's a few things that are going to go into that, and we'll cover it more. A big part of it being his stepmother died in 2014.
Okay.
His stepmom passed away, and we'll talk more about Bunny a little bit later.
Bunny.
But that she was a Democrat and also kind of a balancing force. Mm-hmm. And so there was a little bit of like, don't embarrass the family.
Yeah.
And all of those people were kind of gone from the board.
Yeah.
Trump came to power. And he got to see what billionaires could start to flex their money. We also have the falling apart of things because of the Supreme Court with Citizens United.
Yep.
Tim started sending millions to super PACs that run ads on behalf of Republican candidates. He started giving millions of dollars to Donald Trump and beyond. By 2024, Tim became the second largest contributor to Trump MAGA super PACs with $150 million in donation.
Huh.
That's number 2 out of all the billionaires. Number 3 is Israeli billionaire Miriam Adelson, who gave $106 million.
Oh, she sucks so hard.
And number 1 was Elon Musk, who gave $276 million.
Who also bought a chunk of the government.
He's right in the middle.
Yeah.
So before we go deeper into Tim, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to go all the way back to even before 1870 to see where the Mellon family came from. We're going to talk about their rise. We're going to talk about how they used it to capture multiple presidencies. We're going to talk about how they were directly involved with causing the Great Depression, World War II, benefiting off of the Spanish-American War, and probably just leading to almost everything bad that has happened in this country, off and on for over 175 years.
All right, I can't wait to come back from this commercial.
Well, it's the holiday season, so you need to look sharp for family gatherings, office parties, and Black Friday fights. You need Chubbies this year. Chubbies has the cold weather essentials. Their flannels, pullovers, quarter zips, and newly dropped winter jackets are perfect for upgrading your winter gear.
And we love Chubbies in this house.
We really do.
They got us with showing a little thigh meat in the summer.
Yep.
Now in the winter, we're still happy about it.
We are still happy about it. And you like the way I look whenever I go out in those Chubbies. And for your Christmas list this year, you can get the perfect item for your football uncle. And you can check out their new NFL by Chubbies collection with stretch polos and swim trunks for all 32 NFL teams. Go Birds. You'll make any degenerate single dad happy this Christmas. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our fans 20% off your purchase at Chubbies with the promo code TMT at checkout. But if it's Black Friday, skip the code and take advantage of even bigger markdowns during their exclusive Black Friday sale. Just head to chubbyshorts.com and make sure to support the show and tell them Too Many Tabs sent you. And just a reminder, Dick Chaney is still dead. I just gotta remind everybody every now. I'm literally wearing the shirt. I'm wearing a specific shirt. We're looking at you, Mitch. All right. So let's go back in time. Okay. We're gonna go all the way back to 1813.
Okay.
All right, and we're gonna talk about the birth of Tim Mellon's grandfather, Thomas Mellon.
Tommy Mellon.
Tommy Mellon was born in Northern Ireland in 1813.
Sure.
All right. And actually, this family is so rich, they bought almost the entire village he was born in.
Okay.
And they set up an entire museum. It's like, like when you go down, not Busch Gardens, when you go down to Colonial Williamsburg. Yeah. They made basically a Colonial Williamsburg in the little town where you can go there and be like, this is what life was like when Tommy Mellon lived here.
Okay.
And there's a whole thing about the Ulster, Scots, Irish, and all this different stuff. At the age of 5, Tom Mellon's father, Andrew,
Okay.
moved the entire family to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hey, nailed it.
You did nail it. There's going to be a lot of Pennsylvania in this story.
There always is.
It's always going to be the
We
western
can't help
half.
ourselves.
They were following the footsteps of Andrew's grandfather. We have Thomas's grandfather, Archibald Mellon.
Archibald.
Archibald.
That is an evil millionaire's name.
Yes. So Archibald had moved to, he heard about land and opportunities in America. He moved over there, then wrote back, said, it's great over here.
Oh, wait till you
Come
see
see
this place.
scenic Pittsburgh.
They got kibasi.
So many bridges.
They got pierogies.
No, this is pre-kielbasi and pierogies. The Polish
Why
aren't
would
there
you
yet.
go there then?
I don't know.
There's no reason.
So the whole family moves there. Originally, when they get there, so Thomas gets raised in the Pittsburgh area.
Mm-hmm.
They're just outside of Pittsburgh, the main town. But he was originally being raised to be a farmer, and that's what the family was. They were farmers. But Thomas starts walking around. He starts seeing like, hey, there's people here that are richer than I've ever been or have ever seen. Because where he grew up in Northern Ireland, a lot of the landlords and wealthy landowners, they were actually all back in England. They were back in London. They weren't in the area. Now he's in a place where the landlords live just around the corner from the actual land. And he started to notice something. He goes, landlords fucking make a lot of money. Man, being a landlord's pretty sweet. And then he started doing this thing called reading. And he read a book.
Okay.
And you won't believe the book he read.
Chicken Soup for the Landlord's Soul.
Close enough. The autobiography of Ben Franklin.
Benny, no.
Yeah. And while reading this, that's when Thomas Mellon realized that in America, you can have a rags to riches story. In America, unlike where he came from, you can just make money. So he did. He started making money. Eventually, he went to college. He became a lawyer. And then after a very contentious engagement, he married into some money.
Okay.
And they used that money to grow a law practice. And eventually, by growing a law practice and getting involved with local Republican politics, he became and got elected as an assistant judge. He took all the money that he was making as a judge and as a lawyer, and he started reinvesting all of that into real estate, buying up most of downtown Pittsburgh, and then renting it back out to the people who needed to use it.
Ah, yes.
By 1869, he retired from being a judge.
That didn't feel like a lot of time as a judge.
It's about a 10-year term. Literally, right now, it's election day in Pennsylvania. There's 10-year terms for a lot of our judgeships here. And Pennsylvania is, I think there's only 4 states in the union where we actually have elections for our judges. Most of the other states, they're appointed. And so he got to that point. He goes, I'm good. I don't need this. And he opened a bank, and he called the bank T. Mellon and Sons.
T. Mellon and Sons.
Yep, because his idea was that his sons were going to work for him. His sons are Andrew W. Mellon and Richard B. Mellon.
Okay.
Andrew does pretty quickly start to work there at the age of 15.
Well.
Yeah.
Well.
The original bank.
Get a job.
The original bank door were giant cast iron doors.
Yeah.
Because the old banks, you wanted everything to be able, you had to actually lock the bank.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want people to break in and all this different stuff. Right above the cast iron doors, there was a life-size statue of Ben Franklin.
I mean, I'm mad, but I'm not.
He was super into Ben Franklin. But in 1873, so the bank opens in 1870. That's the official starting date of the bank.
Yeah.
In 1873, the bank nearly goes under.
Okay.
Because America nearly goes under.
Yeah.
We had a thing in 1873 called a financial panic. And now these happened a lot. In many of our prior episodes that we talked about, especially focusing on the late 1800s, going into the early 1900s, there was this constant and consistent cycle where it was about every 12 to 18 years, the entire economy of the United States of America would damn near collapse.
Yeah.
It just kept happening over and over and over again. But the bank survived. And the bank survived in a big deal, in a big way, because of the work of his son, Andrew, who at this point is 18 years old.
18-year-old Andy, how did he save the bank?
He just ran around a lot. He was just he knew he was looking into future investments. He knew where to when you have a big collapse, one thing that happens is a lot of stuff becomes very cheap.
Yeah, you gotta buy cheap.
And he did. And so
Okay.
they started investing even more into real estate holdings, and they started buying up coal fields. They started investing heavily into railroads. And eventually, he was able to get to a point where he handed the entire bank control to Andrew. By the time of his death, on his 95th birthday,
He died on his birthday?
on his birthday
Wow.
in 1908, the Mellon family, including his 5 living children, were the wealthiest and most prominent industrialists in the entirety of America.
So I know this is a pivot, okay? And I know that you're saying they were industrious and they were doing all this. I feel like, and maybe it's because we're coming at the end of Ookie Spooky Month, and maybe I've been watching American Horror Story again, as I do this time of year every single year.
Yeah.
This entire family, for the listeners that have watched American Horror Story, is giving me the Witch Hunters Guild in that show. So in American Horror Story Coven,
Okay.
there is an elite business that has been generationally wealthy for years, hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they're running like a big bank, and of course have like land holdings and all this stuff. And it's like the sons are helping run it. But they actually just made a deal with the devil before they started their first bank. And the deal was they had to become witch hunters, basically.
And kill witches.
And kill witches. And then they would steal that energy or whatever. And that's actually...
And they could use it to power Excel spreadsheets?
Well, that's how they used it to fuel they used money magic
Okay.
type of deal. And so... as I'm picturing this, I'm very much picturing this boardroom
I mean,
currently now, where it's like now times like a boardroom in Pittsburgh on the 57th floor, where all these guys are having discussions about their investments, but then they have to look over and be like, and of course we need to find the yearly sacrifice. That's
Yeah.
how I'm picturing it right now, because I'm still in the Oogie Spooky mood.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that a lot. And
I'm assuming that they're making deals with the devil.
I didn't get to use that button a lot, so I just wanted to use that button right now, just to put a pin in all of that, because it is pretty close.
Yeah.
And the thing is we're gonna talk now about Andrew Mellon. He does not deserve to be called Andy.
Oh, okay. Not like our beautiful Andy Richter.
No, not like our beautiful Andy Richter. We love him. God bless his knees. He does not deserve
Let
it.
that man get off that show.
No, we need him to
rest.
win.
He needs to rest.
No, he's gonna get double knee replacement when he's done. But Andrew Mellon is probably one of the more evil people to have ever lived.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this more. So at 18, so I said at 15, he starts working at the bank.
Yeah.
At 18, the financial panic of 1873 happens. Andrew runs around a lot in the background and is like a foot soldier, really, for Thomas. He's able to spot good ideas and do all these different things. By the age of 21, Andrew is handed direct power of attorney over the entire bank.
Okay.
I want you to think about that.
I don't want to think about a 21-year-old power. No.
A 21-year-old.
No.
Controlling a bank.
Who grew up rich? No thanks.
He grew up pretty well. He wasn't super rich.
You just said earlier they owned almost all of Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
He's walking around and everybody
no, but I'm
is
thinking
his
billionaire.
tenant.
I'm thinking about billionaire rich, but no, I forgot about the real estate part.
Yeah.
But so he is already. I want you to think though about like. I mean, the best thing to think is
I'm
like,
just picturing salmon shorts with boat shoes, ruining everybody's day.
No, but this is back in the day when they didn't dress like that. This is back in the day where young men dressed like old guys.
Yeah.
So he's more along the
Salmon
line.
shorts and boat shoes is a spiritual look. I when I see that walking towards me with a little white polo, spiritually that could be any other outfit. It's a vibe.
Gotcha.
And he has that vibe. There's no doubt.
So by 1882, when Andrew was 27 years old, he then had full, complete ownership of the bank.
Okay.
It was solely his. He wasn't just power of attorney anymore. He had total control.
Yeah.
But eventually, his brother, Richard B. Mellon,
Dick.
joined the bank as a co-owner and as a vice president.
Okay.
Richard was always under Andrew. But he also heavily invested in industrial things that are happening in the
Now
area.
I'm just picturing Succession at this point.
It is. This is very Succession.
And he's Scottish.
Yeah,
He's
he
Scotch
is.
Irish.
Yeah, exactly. It's just bury that this entire time. Andrew invests heavily in aluminum, coal mining, energy production, and more in the areas.
Barren stuff.
This is all barren stuff.
It's barren stuff.
This is all evil barren stuff.
Barren coded.
It is. In the 1880s, Andrew aggressively expanded the bank, eventually gaining the ability to print banknotes.
Okay.
So this is insane. Back then, now we have the Federal Reserve, right? And the Federal Reserve Bank is who actually physically prints the cash.
Yeah.
And those are done in specific bank printing presses all over the United States. There's different regions. You can look at your money, look at the coins, all these different things. Back in these days, we went to the biggest banks and said, well, you guys have the ability to do that, because we didn't want the government to do anything, including print our own money. So in the 1880s, he is literally printing money.
Yeah.
This is why crypto is so fucking dangerous, because crypto is trying to do the digital version of that. Guys are minting / creating money. This is that same bullshit all over again. Andrew also bought or founded an insurance company, a title company, trust companies, and more in the area. He became director of a petroleum exchange while founding a natural gas company.
Oh, man.
The Mellon brothers moved heavily into petroleum, founding an oil company, a pipeline, a refinery, and at one point, they produced 10% of all exported oil in America. They eventually sold that entire sector of their business off to Standard Oil, but one thing a lot of people don't realize is that Pennsylvania at one point was proto-Texas.
Oh, really?
We have across Pennsylvania, now we talk a lot about fracking.
Yeah.
The reason fracking and they need to use these special things to get so deep to get the oil is we already sucked off the top level of oil. We did. And in fact, across Pennsylvania, we did. But across Pennsylvania, there is so many uncovered wells.
I know.
And one of the things...
RuPaul's been running around looking at them.
just fracking.
Just...
Cha-cha. But one of the things actually that Josh Shapiro, our current governor, one of the big focuses of his governorship has been going around and covering these uncovered wells, because they seep into groundwater, they're a danger, all these different things. Because back in the day, you would go and you'd work this well until it ran dry, and then you just literally walked away.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
What?
They just didn't care. They're like, well, I'm done with this. I'll move on to the next thing. And that just kept going until they got to Texas or Wyoming. This entire thing grew their wealth substantially.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're oil barons now.
Yeah. We're Pittsburgh
and they
oil
also
barons.
bought all the different parts of the sector. You know what I mean? So they're not just like, oh, we pump oil. They're also refining it. They're also exporting it. They're doing. They're buying every part of it so that they don't have to spend.
It's called vertical integration. It's part of monopolies. It's like the true part of like the crazy monopoly stuff that we spent. And by we, I mean the United States, spent years breaking up.
Yeah, back when we did that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this was a huge part of it. It'd be similar to being like, hey, Google, you shouldn't be the search engine and the browser and the phone. And oh, wait, no, we found that you're actually a monopoly by doing all of that. Well, you can just pay an annual fee.
Yeah.
And then the president will make a big deal about that while having a big table discussion surrounded by other tech billionaires. Nah, don't look into that one. Anyway,
doing the Gilded Age again is totally cool.
I love that it's gilded with NFTs.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
At least back then it was gilded with real gold.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go with crypto age. I think this is just the crypto age. Yeah, because it has to be, because we have crypto money, we have crypto billionaires, we have crypto fascism.
Yeah.
We're being run by men who should be in cryptos, because they're so old. We have crypto keepers. There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
Cryptids running around, causing
100%.
chaos.
And Mrs. P, can I tell you, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break. And we come back, I'm going to tell you about how Andrew Mellon killed over 2,000 Pennsylvanians.
Oh, cool.
This next segment has been highly requested.
Okay.
Because I'm going to talk to you about the Johnstown flood.
All right.
And this is a very, very famous flood that happened in Pennsylvania, happened in Western Pennsylvania. And I want to go ahead and warn everybody about that, because this is going to get, this is a very sad story. So Andrew Mellon, as you mentioned before, he was friends and was a baron himself.
Yeah.
He was an oil baron. He was a banking baron, all these different things. And he hung out with a lot of fellow barons, like Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah.
He and all of these different high society types would not only hang out in Pittsburgh, but during the summer when the soot from the coal and like the heat and the oppressive nature of all this stuff would happen, they would go out into the woods.
Yeah.
They would go to these hunting lodges. They would build these clubs all over Western PA. And in fact, later in life, if you go see Andrew, was it not Andrew Weber? Andrew Lloyd Wright. Andrew Lloyd Wright.
Okay.
Falling Water is near Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And this is that same idea of like, this is where rich people like to go out to the woods, get away from it all, be in nature. Let's go hang on the areas we haven't completely destroyed with our love of capitalism and gold.
That's, again, to be very regional, West Philadelphia. That's how West Philadelphia started.
Yeah.
So like when you look at West Philadelphia and the big like Victorian style houses and all that, that's because all the people that lived in like Old City and the main area of downtown Philly.
Yeah.
Then when they were wealthy enough, they'd be like, let's go out to the woods. And they would go all the way to West Philadelphia because there was more trees out there.
Yeah, and they built these big mansions out there, and then they didn't have to breathe in horse shit, literal farm animals, because for a very long time, we used to slaughter farm animals downtown.
Yeah.
If you go, like New York, there's an area called the Meatpacking District. It literally is where they packed meat.
Yeah.
We used to keep pigs in open sties. Horses were shitting everywhere.
Are
Garbage
there any
being
books
thrown.
about this?
There's so many.
Is there any books that are famous about this?
No, which one? Oh, yeah. The Jungle. Tim Mellon was one of the first members. I couldn't find the word founding, but he was one of the very early members of the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club.
Okay.
In 1881, this is when that opened. So when he was a very young man. The South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club counted many of Pittsburgh's leading industrials and financiers among its 61 members. So it's very exclusive. That included Andrew Carnegie, Henry Clay Frick, Andrew Mellon, and Philander Knox. Philander Knox is a very famous attorney.
Okay.
This was organized completely in 1879, and then they bought the land and they opened it all up in 1881. The purpose of the club was to provide members and their families an opportunity to get away from the noise, heat, and dirt of Pittsburgh. The club had a man-made dam on the property, and that was named the South Fork Dam.
Yeah.
That held back reservoir waters into a man-made lake, and then all around the man-made lake, they built cabins.
Okay.
So there's a ton of cabins built around the lake. Now, the club did engage in some periodic maintenance of the dam.
Okay.
Not a lot, though.
Okay.
And people in the area complained, you need to do better.
Yeah.
They made some harmful modifications to the dam. They installed what are called fish screens. So they wanted to make sure, they would restock with fish. And they wanted to make sure that expensive game fish, the ones that you want to catch, stayed inside of the man-made lake. So they put these screens up so the fish couldn't escape by going downstream.
Yeah.
Those screens, however, caught debris like leaves and twigs and rocks and all those different things. And that kept the spillway from draining the lake's overflow. So the waters of the lake were higher than they should be. They also lowered the dam by a few feet, because it was higher going to a point, and it was like, I think it was 76 feet high.
Yeah.
They lowered it to 72. That way they could fit two carriages that could cross.
Oh my God.
Like cop cars talking to each other. You know what I mean? So they could cross at the same time, because
This is
God
such
forbid,
rich people shit.
God forbid rich people wait for, Carnegie wants to cross. Well, he must wait, sir. I am Andrew Mellon.
See, and I thought when you said 61 rich people built a little log cabin area, we were going to be hunting people. But instead, they're just doing the same thing they always do, which is modify the area around them to suit their needs with no regard for how it's going to translate long term.
Yeah, so they had at one point during all this changing, they removed some drainage pipes.
Sure.
And they never reinstalled them.
Of course.
So on May 31st, 1889, it rained. It had been raining for days. It had been raining for a very, very long time. And there had been warnings about the dam. But again, it was one of those things that where if it was an earthen dam. It's not made of concrete.
Yeah.
It's just made, every time there was leaks or things like that would happen, they would literally patch it with mud and straw. Because this is just what they did in the area.
Did they hire a bunch of beavers?
No.
Just get a bunch of beavers.
No, I
you
wish.
You can underpay them.
You could underpay the
love
beaver.
To underpay a beaver.
On May 31st, 1889, after days of rain, the dam broke. Only about a half dozen members, so about 6 people or so, were on the premises of the actual dam area there at the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, because it was early summer.
Yeah.
It's early May. Why they usually didn't come there till late July.
Yeah.
It used to be late
Once
June
it gets
or
real
July.
muggy out.
When it's real muggy out. The flood, according to History.com, is the deadliest in American history. Torrents of water rushed downstream as the dam failed, inundating nearby Johnstown with 16 million tons of water and wiping out most of the town. The flood was as wide as the Mississippi River and 3 times more powerful than Niagara Falls. As it hit Johnstown, all hell broke loose. Locomotives weighing 170,000 pounds were wrenched from railroad tracks and swept thousands of feet. Debris piled up to 40 feet high. Some caught fire as it hit bridges and buildings. People were sucked from buildings and tossed into a raging torrent. A survivor named Gertrude Gwynn Slattery said this, quote, "It was like the day of judgment I have since seen pictured in books. Pandemonium had broken loose. Screams, cries, and people were running. Pets and people struggled to escape the rushing waters, but when the wall of water arrived, they were helpless. It was a moving black mass with houses, trees, boulders, logs, and rafters coming down like an avalanche." If you've ever seen the footage from Japan of the tsunami that hit around Fukushima power plant.
Yeah.
The darkness of the water is what's so terrifying.
Yeah.
And you can see homes, boats. Now this is also one of those crazy situations because they're in Western PA. They're far from the ocean. They're far from the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
This is to them a little river, a stream.
Yeah.
Just having this level of water coming to
It
them.
reminds me of what just happened in Texas, where
Yes.
where all the
flood
summer
water.
camp got washed away, and it was one of the causes was that they didn't take care. The local government didn't take care of the situation, and so they didn't have the correct response.
When the waters finally receded, the extent of the damage became clear. According to the Johnstown Area Heritage Association, 2,209 people died, almost 400 of them children. Among the dead were 99 entire families. The $17 million in damage today would total $4.4 billion in 2025 numbers.
Wow.
This included 1,600 obliterated homes and 4 square miles of complete destruction. In the aftermath, bodies were found as far away as Cincinnati, Ohio. That's 400 miles away. And that's according to History.com.
Yeah.
According to Mellon's own biography, Mellon never publicly commented on the flood. He did donate $1,000 to the relief fund.
I'm sorry. What? $1,000?
$1,000 in 2025. That is the equivalent of $35,000.
But you said that it was $17 million in damage. Their money.
Yes.
And he donated $1,000.
Yeah. Imagine if you heard there was $4.4 billion in destruction, and you gave $35,000, and you were one of the people who was supposed to be in charge of updating the dam.
Yeah.
The survivors and people in the area did take it to court.
Yeah.
In court, they claimed that the South Fork Hunting and Dam Lodge Association obviously had top lawyers. These are some of the richest people in the world. You got Mellon, Andrew Carnegie, and others. In court, the lodge and this Hunting Lodge Association claimed that they only lowered the dam by 1 foot. And they also claimed that the flood was an act of God. Individuals who sued all lost in court, and some of them even went bankrupt trying to sue them. Through the American legal system, soon adopted precedents that made it possible to hold defendants liable for their modifications to land. The magnates behind the Johnstown flood walked off scot-free. Nobody, it seemed, was willing to challenge America's most powerful men. It turns out that the flood could have 100% been prevented if only these barons had actually been willing to trade in a bit of their leisure for the safety of the entire town below them.
What? You would want the barons?
Just a few safety measures.
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Oh,
taking
man.
their time crossing a dam. That could have saved 2,209 lives.
99 families.
400 children.
Oh, wow. But it sounds like it was slightly inconvenient.
It would have been slightly inconvenient.
Oh.
Oh, but then he can't see my carriage in passing. Oh, but we might lose a couple fish. What about the fish?
Not like they can't afford more fish.
They can't afford more fish. But don't worry. I know you were concerned that during all of this time, Andrew Mellon might be losing money.
You know what? I was so worried about that.
You were so worried. You should be.
Yeah.
But don't worry. He never stopped making money.
Yeah.
He formed this thing called the Union Trust Company, and that got into commercial banking.
Oh, thank God.
And then he bought glass companies, construction companies, more coal. And he even got a write-off from Andrew Carnegie, who actually had a monopoly on most steel production in the company. And he started getting into his own steel company.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And guess what? Around this time, we had a thing called the Spanish-American War, when we probably did a false flag attack on ourselves to blow up a ship called the Maine in Cuba. And guess what that did?
What?
That made America really want to start building battleships. So Andrew Mellon bought a shipbuilding company. And he used his own steel to build the ships.
Oh my God.
And then he looked around at the bank that he and his dad built.
Yeah.
T. Mellon and Sons, and he said, that name is old. That's old. That's
Lame. We need a rebrand.
That's from the gay 90s.
Let's get fresh.
That's what they called it, by the way.
The gay 90s.
The gay 90s. The 1890s are remembered as the gay 90s.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why TGA Fridays looks like that. I swear to God. It's so confusing. But there's a whole period of time. The gay 90s are this weird period between major wars. And the same way we kind of view the 90s of the 1990s.
Super
we look
gay.
back and go, it was gay.
It was so gay.
But back then, gay just meant
we were wearing
happy.
brown lipstick, talking on our phones.
Yeah.
Wearing shoulder pads sometimes.
But no, all these different places, Applebee's, all of them are based on the 1890s because in the 70s, when a lot of these restaurants were founded, that's what your grandparents' living room would have looked like. And that's where you'd feel safe. It's a whole confusing thing. I'm not going to get in more into it. Anyway, he renamed T. Mellon and Sons to Mellon National Bank.
Yep, okay.
Because he wanted to update it some more. And guess what?
What?
He started investing in more companies.
Yay! He's really diversifying his portfolio.
He's literally printing money. He kept buying and selling through the panic of the 1907.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, the panic of 1907. That was with
the onion lady whose name I don't remember.
the Witch of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. He then reorganized Gulf Oil.
Wait, what?
Because he was invested heavily Gulf Oil.
Yeah, I know what Gulf Oil
Yeah,
is.
it was named after a different guy. They changed the name to Gulf Oil, and then he installed a different member of the Mellon family as head of the company.
Okay, yeah.
By this point in time,
He installed an oil dictator.
basically into the company itself, he was just like, no, you're a fucking idiot.
Get out of here.
Get it. You go on, get. Dumb cousin, you're the president now. That's literally what he did.
Yeah, no,
it was just like in the movie.
That's what our government does in South America.
But this is also just like the show Succession. By this point, Mellon National Bank had the most deposits in Pittsburgh. It was the #1 deposit bank in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He also owned a large chunk of the second largest bank of deposits in Pittsburgh, too.
No.
Because he funded them through his union company. The Union Trust Company as a
that
commercial
definitely
bank.
didn't have unions in it.
Oh, he hated unions.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way this guy likes unions.
By the way, this entire time in the background, he is also investing heavily into breaking up unions.
Yeah.
Typically through using racist tactics through his friend Frick. So especially around coal mining, around aluminum mines, there's a lot of any Western Pennsylvania mining story involves the Mellons somewhere in the background funding gangs of men to go attack whole villages.
Yeah.
And we actually don't have time to cover that.
Well, we know
there's-
what's happening.
There's so many more crimes to cover.
Oh, it's crime
But
time.
Let's talk about personal life for a minute.
Okay.
All right. In 1907, Andrew and his English wife, Nora, had Paul, their second son. Their second kid, actually. Their first child was a girl.
So we don't need to know her name.
We don't need to know her name at all.
History's not going to remember her. She's a woman.
Pretty much. That's kind of how this goes. But the thing is, you need to know about Nora.
Yeah.
Nora's a bad bitch.
Okay.
Because Nora cannot stop cheating on Andrew. She fucking hates him.
Well, he's not home. He has like 400 businesses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
That man is not, he's at the office.
Oh, well, and the whole thing was he fell in love with Nora after the woman that he was really interested in. She got tuberculosis. He went, ew, stinky. And then he ran away. And then he met her when she was like 19. He was like, and she's English. I can feel like a lord. And that's kind of why he married her. Okay. And then she was like, this dude sucks.
Yeah, Nora's like, fuck this guy.
So she requested a divorce shortly after Paul was born. Okay. Paul Mellon.
She said, like, you got your son.
Yeah, you got your heir. You're good.
Out.
I need to get out of here because I like getting dick other places.
Whoa.
So to avoid a public scandal, Andrew reluctantly agreed to the separation in 1909. Now, this is the part that is difficult.
Okay.
And this is immediately where we see money come in. Back in 1909, in Pennsylvania, to get a divorce, you had to have a public jury trial.
Okay.
You could not do it privately, not just in front of a judge. You had to sit in front of a jury of your peers, and then 12 random men had to decide whether or not you were allowed to be divorced.
Yeah.
And it was very public and very messy. So divorces were always really public. Now we have what's called no-fault divorce. If one day out of nowhere Mrs. P just says, I'm done with you, she can be. Yeah. She can legally do that. There's some time, there's waiting period.
Every day.
Every day. Every day she decides she's not done. But back then, in 1909, when she requested a divorce, they would have had to go through a jury trial. So, Paul convinced the Pennsylvania legislature to change that law, and he got rid of
Not Paul.
jury.
Paul's the baby.
Sorry, Tim.
Andrew.
No, Tim's the grandson. Andrew. There's too many Mellons.
Yeah.
Mr. Mellon went to Harrisburg.
But I was picturing a boss baby.
Yeah, boss
attorney.
baby.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Thomas. That was the guy. See that? There's so many Mellons. Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew Mellon went to Harrisburg. He went to the Pennsylvania State Senate. He went to the Pennsylvania State Legislature, which is our house. And he said, change that law. I need to get fucking divorced. I don't need anybody to fucking hear about in the paper.
So he just did what all the kings in England did.
Yes. And this is what's funny. In response to all of this, Nora then went crazy in the press. And she was like, fuck you. Fuck you. He's trying to divorce. We're trying to get divorced. He's holding these fucking things up. These things should be more fair for me. And she started slandering him across the media.
Yeah.
Nora went as far as to contest the divorce in both Pennsylvania and in England. Because she's an English woman.
Yeah.
She appealed to the King of England and to Parliament. And by 1912, Mellon and Nora finally agreed on a divorce settlement, largely on Mellon's turn.
Okay, I love that she asked for the divorce, but then appealed it and was like, no, you're going to do it my way.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And was a jerk the entire time.
Yeah. I'm sure this guy doesn't not suck.
Oh, and you know what, Mrs. P? I'm going to tell you how much this man sucks so hard.
Yeah.
He probably directly caused the Great Depression in the United States.
Can we take a break?
We are going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to cover how Andrew Mellon broke so many goddamn laws and probably set up precedent as to the reason why Donald Trump is able to break so many as well. Just a reminder to everybody, Dick Chaney is still dead. R.I.P. Bozo. Rip Bozo. Anyway.
If you want to hear us talk more about Dick Cheney's death, I'm sure we're going to cover it on next week's after party.
Oh.
On Pearlmania.
Oh, Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell episode. Yeah, because on Pearlmania500.net, this is a great promo. You're doing great.
So hard.
No, you got it. On our Patreon, which you can find at Pearlmania500.net or by going to patreon.com/Pearlmania500, we do a thing called the After Party.
Yeah.
And that is our parasocial Pearlmaniac paywalled podcast where we react to your comments. The very comments you're leaving down there on YouTube, the very comments you're leaving on Patreon. Occasionally, every once in a while, we remember to go check those Apple reviews for Apple Podcasts where we have over 1,000.
That's right, baby.
5-star reviews. We're doing a great time. We're doing great. Honestly, you're doing great.
Thanks, I'm doing great.
We're doing better than.
Yeah, fucking Dick Cheney.
High five. All right, now let's talk more about Andrew Mellon. I'm going to keep these names straight.
Yeah.
Okay? Andrew Mellon. This entire time we talked about his divorce, 1912. Andrew Mellon While his divorce is going terribly, he's also getting more and more frustrated with the government, the United States federal government.
Rich people hate the government.
Well, and this is during a very time when rich people really started to hate the government. You have the trust busters come in. These are guys like Teddy Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and even Woodrow Wilson. All of these presidents come in and they break up monopolies and they try to curb the power of industrialists like Andrew Carnegie and Standard Oil and all these different things that they're doing. In 1912, the Taft administration under William Howard Taft tried to investigate the practices of Alcoa. Alcoa is an aluminum company that the Mellon brothers are highly, highly, highly invested in.
Okay.
This is one of their big companies. In fact, the Mellon family is still invested heavily into Alcoa to this day.
Okay.
This is a massive company. They start looking into it more, and Andrew gets really fucking pissed off about this. And he's just like, the government shouldn't be involved with business whatsoever. His view in general is that government should only be there to help business.
Got it.
Andrew, meanwhile, is invested heavily into the war machine for World War I. He spends a ton of money buying war bonds and promoting war bonds and doing the good patriotic thing of standing up for the war. However, as the war ends, Andrew then spends a ton of money supporting Republicans who refuse to ratify the Treaty of Versailles.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I know what the Treaty of Versailles is. I don't know why he wouldn't want it to be ratified.
So the big reason and the big thing that held up the Treaty of Versailles was the idea of the League of Nations, which is what the United Nations is now built off today. There was a feeling in the Senate especially that signing off in the League of Nations would somehow hurt the sovereignty of the United States.
Okay.
And Andrew spent a shit ton of money financially supporting one man in particular, Henry Cabot Lodge, to make sure that he could stand up against this. So it never got ratified.
Huh.
And so officially, going into the election of 1920, the U.S. was still technically at war.
Oh.
Because we hadn't reached an agreement and agreed to the Treaty of Versailles, so we had to negotiate a separate peace with Germany. And by not being inside the Treaty of Versailles, there were all these other different things of like what the United States could and couldn't say in there and all these different things. And so inside of that, this is probably one of the things that actually directly led to the inevitability of World War II.
Okay.
Because we didn't, the League of Nations was so, without having the United States in it and without having, you know, these different parts of it, it led to the fact we weren't able to negotiate our ways out of keeping the nations calm from actually going into this fight. So, after getting a real big taste of spending money on Republican politicians, he actually then spends a lot of money backing a man named Warren G. Harding to become the president of the United States.
Okay.
And Warren does win. Warren is a reaction to the progressive politics of the 1910s. Harding specifically believed that government should aid business as much as possible. With that idea in mind, President Warren G. Harding formally appointed Andrew Mellon as the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States.
Okay, but he said he don't like government.
He said
and
that
now he's the treasurer?
Warren Harding said that Andrew Mellon should be the treasurer because, quote, he's so rich he couldn't be bought.
That's literally Trump's campaign.
There's literally what he said about
That's
Elon.
Trump and Elon both said that about themselves and each other. Like, no, I'm just
and
so
Doge.
rich.
Yeah.
He's not going to steal any money.
Uh-huh.
He's already rich.
No, exactly. This is 100%. But the real reason was that the Mellon Bank had lent $1.5 million to Harding's campaign.
Yeah. He's Elon Musking it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He's Elon Musking it. And I want you to think back to the money. This is very similar money to the level Elon spent.
Yeah.
Mellon had become bored with being a mere tycoon. As one of his enemies put it, quote, Andrew Mellon needed a change, and the grand old party needed the cash.
There it is.
The grand old party is the Republican Party. It's actually weirdly like the Bolsheviks. The Democrat Party is the older party of the two. The Republican Party is the younger party, but they call themselves the grand old party the same way the Bolsheviks in Russia actually means majority when they were actually the minority inside of this group of communists.
Just like they're always telling us they're the silent majority, but
yes,
they never shut
100%.
the fuck up.
It's the same exact type of thing.
Yeah.
The grand old party is the GOP, and they needed the money. Andrew Mellon's appointment as the Secretary of Treasurer, probably illegal.
Just like Elon Musk.
Just like Elon Musk. And here's the thing. There's a statute from 1789.
That's before this happened.
That's before this happened. That's
Okay.
back when the founders were still alive.
Yeah.
That statute from 1789 specifically prohibits the Treasury Secretary from engaging in commerce or trade. An absurd expectation for a man with such industrial power. The founders had also written a law blocking the Treasury Secretary from holding bank stocks in particular. Another absurdity for the owner of Mellon Bank. Mellon overcame these legal restrictions by pretending to sell his assets to his brother, the same way Donald Trump often pretends to sell his assets to his sons or say that it's in a blind trust, right? The rules existed for a good reason. These specific laws were supposed to be there as guardrails because a man who is clothed in public power should not be able to use that power for his own private ends. And this is exactly what Andrew Mellon did throughout the 1920s.
Yeah, it's just a little insider trading with Nancy Pelosi. No big deal.
Yeah, but it's actually even more beyond that. This is more along the lines of making sure that you add in tariffs specifically to protect the domestic industrial monopolies that are held by Andrew and his brother and their good friends.
Oh, man.
So they did. They raised tariffs and they specifically pushed Warren Harding to have tariffs. Even before the election, Harding said that we needed these tariffs to protect American industries, to protect American steel, oil, and others. And Harding dutifully mentioned tariffs in his inaugural address. Mellon even left other millionaire politicians shocked at the scale of his reach, especially in industry and power, right? In one cabinet meeting, the discussion turned on whether or not the government should shut down a war plant that they used during World War I, or should they refurbish it with additional investment. Mellon, sitting at the table, observed that he actually had a plant that was very similar to this, that cost him about $12 million, roughly the same value as the one the government was considering closing. And he said that he had the same dilemma to spend money maintaining an unprofitable but valuable plant. And he finally said, I scrapped mine. And so the government did just that. They just followed exactly what he did in business. Harding died after 2 years.
Yeah.
He was incredibly popular at the time of his death, and then a lot of scandals came out about secret children and all this other different stuff. But that doesn't really matter because what does matter is that Calvin Coolidge then becomes president. He's the vice president. He becomes the president, and he is president until 1929. Then Calvin Coolidge leaves office, and he's succeeded by Herbert Hoover in 1929.
It's about to get great.
It's about to get great because you've seen the musical Annie. You know how this goes with the Hoovervilles.
Thank you very much.
But all this entire time, Andrew Mellon is still Secretary of the Treasury.
Yeah.
So he is still the Treasury Secretary for 3 presidencies now.
Okay.
So he's sitting there, he's deciding U.S. economic
He's just
policy.
Martha Stewarting this. He's got all the insider knowledge.
He's insider trading like a motherfucker. And again, there aren't as many guardrails around.
Yeah.
And because it's the roaring 20s, everything's going so well, nobody's saying anything because everybody's making mad money.
Do you think that Martha Stewart just every morning wakes up just punching the air? Because like she had to go to prison for what everybody's doing just freely, loosey-goose in everybody's faces all day.
Yeah.
And she had to go make ponchos.
Yeah. Well, do you know who who sent her to jail? The one, what's his name? The FBI director, Comey.
Oh, yeah. She's like, yeah, fuck you, Comey.
Yeah, because Trump's now going after Comey
Yeah.
and trying to send him to jail for a bunch of bullshit.
Listen, I'm not saying she didn't commit a crime.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a crime all the guys in the government commit all the time. And I don't know why my girl Martha got in trouble. Women are allowed to commit crimes?
No. It's
lame.
witchcraft when women do it.
Lame.
When men do it, it's smart business
See,
advice.
because they're witch hunters.
Yes.
And they're stealing the witch's power.
Yes.
Which is their crimes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, the whole 20s.
Yeah.
There's some things we should talk about with their economic policies.
Flappers, gin, not understanding the meaning of the book The Great Gatsby. What else?
So, well, the Gatsby book came out, I think, a little bit later. But that's today. And now with Trump literally having a Gatsby party. He literally had a Gatsby party on Halloween.
Yeah.
The day before SNAP benefits are being got slashed all across America.
Listen, I know that we have a short time, but I do want to just yell quickly about the Gatsby party thing.
Go ahead.
Because when I saw the Trump Gatsby party with the girls dancing in the martinis and their scantily clad outfits, while we were on the precipice of all of the SNAP benefits being cut completely for the
And
month.
healthcare costs spiking.
And healthcare and all that stuff, I was just like, I was thinking back to a time that I cursed out one of my old bosses about a Gatsby party because I was working at a nonprofit at the time. And I was working at this nonprofit, and one of our jobs was to help people apply for SNAP benefits. And so I worked in a department where I helped what are referred to as limited English speaking seniors. So seniors that English is not their first language, I would help them apply for SNAP benefits and Medicaid and other benefits that seniors can get in the state of Pennsylvania, right? So I do all their paperwork for them with their help so that they could get those benefits, because sometimes that paperwork's really hard to do, especially if English isn't your first language, right? This is the nonprofit I work for. And my bosses were like, oh, we're going to throw a Gatsby theme party, and we're all gonna dress up like the Roaring 20s and blah, blah, blah. And we weren't getting raises that year because they said, oh, we can't give out raises because we're gonna throw this big gala Gatsby party. And so then I'm in the break room one day, bopping, and the manager comes in and she goes and snitches about how I'm over here basically talking like a union leader about this fucking Gatsby party and the cognitive dissonance you would need to run a nonprofit that does what we do. And then in the face of that, be like, yeah, the Gatsby party. I was like, you don't make any sense. Anyway, they didn't listen to me. I did have to go into an office meeting where I was almost written up for it. Yeah. But I told her exactly what I thought of the whole fucking situation. And then we were required to go to the gala event as employees. And they're like, and everybody dressed up like flappers. What? And me and my dear friend both dressed up like Dust Bowl, the victims of the Dust Bowl.
You dressed up as Newsies.
No,
you were like, but you had but for people for the image.
Oh, okay.
You had suspenders and the hat on, and you were going, "Hello, sir. How are you doing today?"
Yeah, and we had mustaches.
Yeah,
but we covered ourselves in dirt, so we looked like victims of the Dust Bowl.
Yeah,
and we got yelled at the days after when they were like, you didn't come in theme," and I was like, I was more on theme of the 1920s than anybody. And so anyway, that all to say, that's what I first thought of when I saw Trump's Gatsby party.
And the other part that you're leaving out the biggest part of what that nonprofit did. Their number one funder was the Walton family.
Oh, right. We talked about this before.
We mentioned it before on other podcasts. Their number one funder was the Walton family, who owns Walmart.
Yes.
And their job was to help Walmart employees be able to get SNAP benefits and other benefits.
There was one section of the program that sole purpose was to help Walmart employees fill out SNAP paperwork benefits while we were being paid by Walmart as a nonprofit. Because then Walmart gets to take our salaries and write it off because it was a donation to a nonprofit. So they get a tax write-off of that, right? But the Walmart donation actually paid me more money hourly than a Walmart employee. So they could have just paid the Walmart employee enough money to not need SNAP benefits and not pay us.
But what was really crazy about it was they paid you guys just enough to not be able to get any benefits. Yeah, but also it wasn't enough to live on.
They paid us $1 more than an hour than it would have been to qualify for SNAP benefits because they thought it would look bad if we applied for
Meanwhile, we could have just raised the minimum wage the entire time.
We could have
raised the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Okay, so
back to the Mellons.
Let's go back to the 1920s.
Oh,
this is specifically what we're talking about. During the 1920s, farmers specifically were hurting a lot. Soy boys. The farmers were hurting a lot. They're having issues there. The Harding and Herbert Hoover and Calvin Coolidge, they all refused to help them. Mellon and the Republicans blocked relief for them. During this time, the courts regularly weakened unions by attacking protections for strikes, by saying employees weren't allowed to go on strikes.
Yep.
Factories were getting more and more efficient, but wages stayed relatively flat over the years. In 1928, a foreign visitor who came to America said, quote, "America is an employer's paradise." Not employees.
That's not good.
Employers.
You don't want to be an employer paradise.
If you own a company, you can do whatever the fuck you want to these people. All of this quickly pivoted.
Yeah.
On October 28th, 1929.
Okay.
That's known as Black Monday.
Yeah.
Black Monday was then followed by Black Tuesday. The Dow crashed. The stock market went into chaos.
Yeah.
Rich men started throwing themselves off the roofs of buildings.
Ticker tape went wild.
Everything went crazy. President Hoover and Treasury Secretary Andrew W. Mellon led the way with optimistic predictions that business was fundamentally sound and that a great revival of prosperity was just around the corner. The prosperity never came because this was the beginning of the fucking Great Depression.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the Great Depression.
Yeah.
You always go from the roaring 20s into the fascist 30s. Mellon reacted to the stock market crash by demanding cuts to the Federal Reserve rate. Which he had typically tried to keep higher because he was really upset about speculators. He thought that there was a lot of people who were trying to get rich quick using the stock market. But he was, he didn't try to do any regulation around that. He was like, oh, we'll just make money harder to borrow.
Can I tell you something? I know I'm pivoting again, but the only time I know about speculators, and specifically where I learned a lot of background information about this crash specifically, is from the AA Big Book. Did you know that? There is an entire chunk of the AA Big Book that is about a speculator being a part of the crash and like his perspective on what's going on. And he's like, I'm not going to jump out a window. I'm going to get drunk. That's crazy. But
and that's his bottom?
You wish. You wish it would be.
Okay.
You wish it would be.
All right.
But like, it's just so funny that like growing up, it was like, there's just this chunk of Alcoholics Anonymous culture that is built on this speculator who's being crushed by the Great Depression, and they built the entire system, the 12-step system off of that.
The speculators on top of that too are basically gambling addicts. It's layers and layers and layers of addiction. So like it's crazy.
I know.
It's so wild. But real fast. So this was how he tried to handle the Great Depression, the stock market crash in 1929. Cut the Federal Reserve rate, passing a bill through Congress for even more tax breaks.
Yeah, sure.
He was like, the one thing we need right now is less money for us. So more tax breaks. And then he didn't try to hold up the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act at all.
Okay.
That specific act was supposed to save American industry by raising tariffs to the highest level in U.S. history.
Okay.
Until that point.
Yeah. Because I have a suspicion they might be high right now.
About 6 months ago, we were higher than the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. The economy reacted to all of this by tanking further. Banks failed in waves, and unemployment at one point reached 20%.
Okay.
Which is huge.
That's crazy.
There were bread lines. There's all the famous images you've seen of the Great Depression come from this particular period in time.
Yeah.
The whole movie Annie. It's
Yes.
like, this is like kind of that.
Oh.
Most of Annie.
Put a clip in.
Yeah. Don't use one that's copyrighted. The whole time, Mellon is telling Hoover to not intervene. It's called laissez-faire.
And the
Stay
good
off.
guy in that movie is a baron.
And the good guy in the movie is a baron. Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah.
The whole time Mellon's telling Hoover, don't intervene. Everything will fix itself. In his own memoirs, President Hoover wrote that Mellon advised him to, quote, liquidate labor, liquidate stocks, liquidate the farmers, liquidate real estate, purge the rottenness out of the system. High costs of living and high living will come down. Enterprising people will pick up the wrecks from less competent people.
Yeah.
This is literally the exact thing they're pushing on us right now.
Yeah.
They want people to starve to death in this country right now under the idea that smarter people will then inherit the earth. The exact opposite, by the way, of what Jesus Christ said. Jesus Christ said the meek would inherit the earth.
Yeah.
The meek, the people who don't have the means. These are the people we should be preserving the world for. And instead they said, no, the smarter, the more competent.
Also, the idea of liquidating people. Crazy thing to say.
There's literally people right now who are in food lines. I read an article about people in Erie, Pennsylvania, who are in food bank lines, who are saying sometimes when you're dealing with a house that's burned down, you have to demolish everything before you can rebuild. You are the people who will be demolished. And this is the mentality of barons and the rich the entire time. By 1932, Congress raised taxes back up to prior levels. Because throughout the whole 20s, by the way, he was slashing taxes.
For the rich.
For the rich.
Yeah, okay. It's like, the normal people were not getting tax cuts.
By 1932... not only did they turn back on him about the tax levels, they also started impeachment proceedings against him, against specifically Mellon. And the thing is investigations had happened against Mellon before, but he was so fucking popular throughout the entire 20s because everything was going good that nobody could touch him.
Yeah.
But this time around, he was the second most hated man in America.
Well, who's the first?
President Hoover. Mellon, it was claimed, had used his government positions to enrich himself through all of his conflicts of interest.
What?
Yeah. Hoover offered Mellon an escape.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, he did. He named him the ambassador to the United Kingdom.
To Argentina.
That'd be so much more on the nose. Mellon fled to England as ambassador, and while he was there, he convinced the British to allow Gulf Oil to operate in Kuwait.
No!
That probably set up the conditions for the first Iraq War when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait.
Hey, speaking of the Iraq War.
Yeah?
You heard about Dick Cheney?
Oh, yeah. Dick Cheney. It's still dead.
Yeah.
After all of this was said and done, Mellon eventually retired from public life in 1933 when FDR came to power.
Oh, he saw FDR come and he said, I better get out of here.
Oh, you know, he lost his shit on
He said,
that.
I better get the fuck out of here.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt spent basically the entirety of the 1930s undoing every idiot mistake that Andrew Mellon had made. He went through and he heavily regulated the banks, which Mellon hated that. And then Mellon at first went back to Pittsburgh and then discovered everyone there hated him as well. So he fled back to Washington, D.C., where he sat in a mansion and watched his control over Pennsylvania politics evaporate. Local Democrats started winning across the board, including the governorship of Pennsylvania, and they used Mellon's face as an example of Republican corruption.
Yeah.
Mellon, at the very end, was being investigated for tax fraud by the IRS. When eventually he died of cancer in 1937.
Classic Pennsylvania Capone style, baby. We're going to get you. It's going to be for tax fraud.
It's going to be for tax fraud. And that is the death of Andrew Mellon, a man who...
I'm glad to see he died.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know what we're going to do next, Mrs. P. We mentioned him a little bit before. We talked about Paul Mellon.
The baby.
You
growing up?
I'm going to tell you all about Paul and Paul's wife, his second wife, Bunny Mellon, right after this. We're going to have a little fun here.
Okay.
Okay, this is a little bit less horrifying because Paul Mellon is the most regular rich guy that you expect. He's a very classic 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s rich guy of just like, I have a person for that. Okay. Paul Mellon is known for being super into thoroughbred horse racing.
Oh, that's rich people shit for sure.
He wrote a book about himself.
Okay.
Yeah,
like he wrote like a book about his life?
Yeah, it's a memoir about his Silver Spoon upbringing.
Oh, I bet it's really entertaining.
Yeah, you want to know what it's called?
Yeah.
Reflections in a Silver Spoon.
Shut the fuck up.
A dead serious.
Honestly, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, he leaned in. He was just like, I'm rich.
Yeah.
I'm fucking rich. I love horsies.
Yeah.
So the Sad Beige helped me with the research on this one, and she did something that I would never think of doing.
What's that?
She went and checked the Goodreads on the book.
Oh.
And she got reviews of Reflection in a Silver
Shout
book.
out Sad Beige.
Shout out to Sad Beige. We'll throw her handle and all of her links down in the show description. Goodreads reader Janet offered this delicious one-sentence review. It has a 2.0 on Goodreads.
2, that's not great.
That's not great. Quote, Paul Mellon comes across as one of the most boring, shallow people ever to write a memoir. Yeah.
You know what? I bet it would have crushed as an audiobook because you have to record them yourself when you do memoirs.
Got him.
That's the key.
Other succulent reviews. This is Sad Beige's exact words. I just copy pasted this whole thing. Other succulent reviews included, quote, my God, I couldn't get through this. I tried, from Lori.
Classic Lori.
And, to have $1 billion from Barbara. They're just like, look at this rich fucker. Paul was dumb rich the entire time.
Yeah.
In 1957, Fortune magazine prepared its first list of wealthiest Americans.
Yeah.
It estimated that Paul Mellon, his sister Alyssa Mellon Bruce, his cousin Sarah Mellon, and Richard King Mellon were all among the richest 8 people in the United States, with fortunes between $400 million and $500 million each, which in today's money is between $4.3 and $7.6 billion.
Okay.
So out of the 8 richest people in America, the Mellon family was 50% of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then Kylie Jenner.
Meanwhile, Elon's they believe that Elon will be worth $1 trillion soon. That is unfathomable amounts of money. That is shoot somebody into the sun amount of money. So okay,
Sorry, what?
well, you might want to edit that one out. Bleep that. Throw a bleep over whatever that was, Mr. Third. Thank you. All right, so Paul's first wife, Mary Conover Brown.
Mary Conover Brown.
Conover Brown. She died in 1946.
Okay.
But this was shortly after their second child was born. They had 2 kids, Catherine and Tim Mellon, who this show's
Mellon.
really about Timothy Mellon.
Got it.
Paul shortly remarried afterwards to Rachel Lambert Mellon, who is known affectionately as Bunny.
Classic Bunny.
Bunny. All right. And Bunny Mellon is famous. She gets around. All right.
Oh.
Not in that
Not
way.
like Nancy Reagan?
No. She is just this, like rich lady in the background.
A rich
type
lady
of thing.
named Bunny.
But she herself comes from a shit ton of money. Her dad was president of Gillette safety razors.
Okay.
And her grandfather invented Listerine.
Oh, so she's like the bathroom princess.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. If you walked into a bathroom, you're paying Bunny Mellon a little bit of money. Paul and Bunny collected art, a lot of art. Paul was super into horse racing. He is one of only 5 people to be designated as an exemplar of racing by the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He was that good at horse racing.
So he's the biggest fan? Or he's the best racer?
He was like he
because horse jockeys are famously
no. He was the owner.
Wealthy.
He was the owner.
Yeah.
He owned the horse. He owned the jockey. He
Yeah.
owned the stable. He did the breeding. He was always there. Much just like Queen Elizabeth. He was super into horses.
Yeah.
All right. Loved a horse.
He was a big horse girl.
Big horse girl energy. Bunny, super into gardening.
I love that bun.
She was never formally trained, but she was super rich, so she could just learn shit.
Yeah.
And she was a lifetime friend of Jackie Kennedy.
Oh, of course.
Yes. And Bunny helped then First Lady Jackie Kennedy in 1961.
Don't you fucking dare bring up this rose garden right now.
She helped Jackie Kennedy do and choose the art for the White House restoration. Mm-hmm. And then she helped redesign the White House Rose Garden.
I swear to fuck.
After JFK's assassination, Bunny Mellon picked and designed all of the flowers for JFK's funeral. And then after that, she was handpicked and chosen by Lady Bird Johnson, the wife of Lyndon B. Johnson, Kennedy's vice president, who became the president. She was chosen and followed through to help design a second White House garden that was dedicated in 1965 to Jackie Kennedy, and it was known as the First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Garden. Mm-hmm. And it existed on the east wing of the White House next to the colonnade until about 3 weeks ago when it was fucking bulldozed for no reason.
Mm-hmm. After he paved the rose garden.
After he paved the rose garden.
Which had like hand-selected specific breeds of roses. Mm-hmm. If you've studied roses, which somebody in this room has, like the breeding of roses is like, it's so much work. Roses are such divas to take care of. Mm-hmm. Having a rose garden is a labor of love. And to have a friend, if I had a friend like Bunny who helped me do that and had all that knowledge of roses for me. And then, after my husband passes and she picks out all the flowers, because they're beautiful. She knew every specific type of breed and she called everybody that got the most beautiful fresh flowers. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And her stepson funded the man who destroyed it.
I'm sorry, what?
Her stepson funded the man who destroyed both of those gardens.
And this is why stepmothers get a bad rap because she had an evil stepson.
So that's the thing is
Okay.
actually Bunny is she's a lifetime Democrat. Everybody who meets her loves her. Paul is a Republican. All the Mellons are Republicans, but they're like they're old money, we like business Republicans.
Yeah.
They weren't this newer crazy lunatic type.
They're the kind of people that say, "Oh, they're like, oh, are you rich?" And they're like, "We're comfortable."
But Bunny was also like, Bunny had friends, who were Republicans and all this different stuff. It was one of these types of things where when the way Biden would talk about fucking Republicans, where he was like, I have friends and there's good Republicans out there. And we're like, no, there isn't.
Not
because we
anymore.
come from a generation of people like, we've never seen a good Republican.
Yeah.
There would at least be somewhere we could come and there'd be something that we could agree on, right?
Yeah.
Bunny comes from the Barbara Bush era, this era, the Lady Bird Johnson, Jackie Kennedy. We can still all come together and we all can agree that we're Americans level. This is where she's from. Paul dies at 1999 at the age of 91.
These guys be living long.
They're super fucking rich.
These guys, that's what it is. When you're rich, you don't
when
have
you're
enough
this
you don't have
rich,
stress.
you got so much money. So Paul, 91, 1999. Bunny keeps living.
I bet.
But she stayed involved with politics, and in fact, she was actually involved with a presidential scandal.
Bunny.
Around the 2008 presidential election.
Okay.
John Edwards, who was John Kerry's 2004 VP nominee. He was a senator from North Carolina. He had a very specific haircut, talk like this. She loved John Edwards. She really thought he could become president. She paid out of pocket for a lot of his different things, including covering up a secret love child that he had with a videographer for his 2008 campaign. Bunny was very specifically involved with that. Bunny died in 2014.
Okay.
At the age of 103.
That's what I'm saying. Gardening is good for your spirit.
The actor Frank Langella gave her eulogy, and Bette Midler performed.
Bette Midler
performed at Bunny's
Bette
funeral.
Midler.
It was an event.
Bunny.
It was an event. We stan a Bunny. All right.
I don't know a lot about
There are
Bunny,
listen.
But what I know.
I want to tell y'all something.
If Bette Midler wants to sing, come on.
I want to tell y'all something right now.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a good billionaire. We're going to repeat that over and over again.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as a good billionaire.
Tax them.
The taxes should be higher. Fuck all these different people. All of that being said, there was a Bunny, I'd be like, yo, what up, Bunny? Like, I'd be like, okay. I would not care. If some leftist did a this you to me standing next to Bunny at a yeah. I'd be like, fuck yeah. That's me and Bunny Mellon, bitch. That's what I would do.
And then you're like kicking Paul.
Yeah.
Or screaming at him like he's the My Pillow guy.
Well, I'd be kicking Tim. I'd be kicking her stepson, Tim. And because here's the thing.
What?
He's the evil stepchild. He's a bad guy. And we're going to go, and this episode is actually about him, but I needed everyone to have the background
The
of
context.
them. I needed you guys to sit through an hour, 15 minutes or so of all of this, and to have a minute of Bunny light before we get into the horror that is the secretive billionaire known as Timothy Mellon. And if you're tired of hearing all the ads, you can always join us at Pearlmania500.net, where you can get ad-free versions of both the audio and visual of this very podcast.
Have you been watching this podcast or listening to this podcast for an hour? Leave it 5 stars.
Leave us 5 stars, wherever it is. Yeah, leave us comments.
Wherever you're at.
Like,
give us a little positive vibes, please.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit that hype button. Dick Chaney is still dead. I don't know what music to hit there that wouldn't be copyright struck. Anyway, let's talk about Tim Mellon.
Okay.
I hate this man.
Yeah.
The more I learned about him, the more I hate him.
Yeah.
Tim Mellon, just the quickest summary is this dude sucks. Quote, this is from some of the research I got here. A highly private individual, according to some who know him, Tim Mellon divides his time between his vast properties in Wyoming and Connecticut. 2 places that suck. He's had 3 wives and 4 weddings, but no children of his own.
Wait, what? Where's the 4th? What?
I think he remarried one of them. I didn't look too much into it because, again, this dude sucks on these things. I really want to concentrate on the horrors that he's done.
All right.
According to people who knows him, he's socially awkward.
Yeah.
And he wears old aviator glasses with tape on the bridge.
Okay.
He is apparently fond of Patsy Cline.
Well, who's
He's
not?
obsessed with Amelia Earhart. And he also has a weird obsession with a specific medieval Norwegian church.
Okay. So, and then I remember you saying something about being in the trains, right?
He's super. At one point, he owned a train company. He's also super into planes.
Okay.
As a little boy,
I was about to say, this is real little boy energy.
he's very rich little boy energy.
Yeah.
As a little boy, he was very gregarious. In time, he became a brilliantly mathematically minded child. This is according to Bunny.
Yeah.
He has confidence, but not curiosity to branch out. That was according to Burton Hirsch in The Mellon Family. In that same book, it was noted that Tim's political and social mindset is very different from Paul's. And that started emerging during adolescence, to the alarm of his father. If Tim had a radical idea, Paul pounced on it and smashed it down.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll learn better. You'd better change, Bunny recalled to the historian. The problem was that Tim was already rich.
Yeah.
This is where the big issue is. Tim was born rich.
Yeah.
His grandfather gave him $100 million trust instrument.
Yeah, that was the stork bag I talked about in the
at the very, very beginning. According to this and other things that was left behind from his grandfather, the children were equal economically to their parents.
Oh, yeah, that's
So they
a real
couldn't
you
say
can't tell
shit.
me shit situation.
Yeah, because he would be like, son, in this house, I have my own house, Dad.
Yeah.
I got my own house.
Yeah.
Oh, one of these days, when you have money, when you have to pay, I have to pay taxes every year, Dad.
Yeah.
I got a trust fund. According to a recent biography about Bunny Mellon.
Okay.
And that biography, by the way, is called I'll Build a Stairway to Paradise.
Okay.
Quote, Paul agreed with Bunny that Tim was a very difficult child. So they sent him away to boarding school.
Yeah.
At the age of 10, he was enrolled in Fenn near Boston, and then he was sent to Milton Academy, also in Massachusetts, and finally he went to Yale.
Yale is a boarding school in this timeline.
In this timeline. In the 1960s and 70s, Yale did something to Tim. It made him seem almost progressive. He
that?
started funding liberal charities. He actually funded a feminist law practice.
Oh, he did that thing where you go to college and you meet people that you didn't grow up around.
Yeah,
So you start to have,
he changed a little bit.
You start to grow, mature, and gain empathy.
Yeah, but then this weird thing happened.
What's that?
Ronald Reagan came to power.
Son of a bitch.
And Tim looked at Ronald Reagan and said, that is the perfect man.
That is the best guy I've ever seen.
In his autobiography, Tim Mellon wrote. His autobiography, by the way.
These people need to stop writing books about themselves.
You want to know what it's called?
What?
Pan Am.Captain.
Pan Am, like the planes?
Yeah. Because they own Pan Am.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
He views himself as a captain.
No.
And it has a picture of a private plane on the front. I think he flies his own plane.
Jesus Christ.
But in Pan Am. Also, whenever I read it, I kept thinking not Pan Am
yeah.
from Hunger Games.
Oh,
'Cause it
and
feels-
not Padam from Kylie Minogue.
Padam.
Copyright.
In Pan Am, he wrote, Ronald Reagan, quote, understood that people did best for themselves when shackled with the least amount of governmental constraints.
Okay.
Yeah, when Tim Mellon looks back on his Yale education, he trashes it as, quote, a mishmash of pseudoscientific sociological claptrap, largely based on progressive dogma related to the redistribution of wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's voting for Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, oh, he definitely. We'll get into it, but I don't doubt that he actually is throwing money at Cuomo.
Oh, for sure.
It usually takes a little bit after an election to go find these things, but I wouldn't doubt if he is throwing money back there. In his biography, Tim writes little about his family or personal life. It's very much an obsession in there about his efforts to build a railroad company and how long it took him to learn to fly. That takes up most of the 171 pages of the book.
Yeah.
There's an appendix in the book. He reveals his itinerary of a trip in which he flew around the world. And he also has his medical history listed in there with the notation 2008 prostate removed.
Why would he put that in the book?
I don't know. But again, there is nothing about his family as a whole. He does not talk about his family.
He's like, I'm not going to talk about the family, but I'll tell you about my medical history.
Yeah, he also lists his 20 favorite movies. Number 1 is Casablanca. Number 6 is My Cousin Vinny.
I mean, they're both good movies.
Those are both good movies, but I was just like,
who read this book? No one?
A lot of people did slowly over time as people started to notice it because the book was initially released as an ebook and then people noticed, and then it got pulled as an ebook.
Why did it get pulled as an ebook?
Well, let me read you some quotes from the book about some of his beliefs. Timothy Mellon wrote that black Timothy Mellon wrote that black people were, quote, even more belligerent after the explosion of social programs in the 60s and 70s, that Americans who rely on government assistance were, quote, slaves of a new master, Uncle Sam.
Okay.
Mellon called social safety net programs slavery redux, adding, quote, for delivering their votes in the federal election, they are awarded with yet more and more freebies, food stamps, cell phones, WIC payments, Obamacare, and on and on and on. The largesse is funded by hardworking folks, fewer and fewer in number, who are too honest or proud to allow themselves to sink into this morass.
This guy is more ass. Okay, I've heard these arguments before from many people in the world and the internet. But what does this man know about a hard day's work?
Oh, he calls himself an entrepreneur repeatedly.
Being born into a pile of money like Scrooge McDuck does not make an entrepreneur.
Oh, but babe, he learned to fly and he tried to build a railroad. Mellon blames academia for introducing, quote, a mishmash of meaningless tripe, unquote, not limited to black studies, women's studies, LGBT studies that has been used to, quote, brainwash gullible young adults into going along with the dependency syndrome. Invoking the spirit of Abraham Lincoln and abolishing chattel slavery, Mellon insisted that the GOP's job, the Republican Party's job now, is to, quote, deal with the contemporary counterpart. So basically, he claims that the way Lincoln freed the slaves, the modern Republican Party, through Donald Trump, needs to defeat and free us from woke and DEI.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So when this book was kind of discovered and commented upon, it got pulled. But then it eventually got released again.
In paperback?
In paperback form. Yeah. In a statement, the book's publisher, his name is Tony Lyons, he defended Mr. Mellon's views, saying that he had used, quote, words that some readers might now consider harsh, but it's not racist to report that reality and truth.
Okay.
So Tony Lyons is the publisher. That's the name of the owner of the publishing company.
Got
the
it.
publishing company is called Skyhorse.
Skyhorse.
You've heard this name before.
I have?
Yes, in the RFK episode. It's the same publishing company that started publishing RFK Jr. after he got canceled for becoming a psycho anti-vaxxer.
Yep. Okay.
Tony Lyons also then co-founded the American Values 2024 Super PAC and backed RFK Jr.
Yep.
Mellon gave that PAC $25 million to boost Robert F. Kennedy specifically as a spoiler in the 2024 election, hoping to pull votes away from Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yep, that checks out.
Yeah, Tim Mellon has spent the last bunch of years throwing unregulated campaign money at virtually every Republican politician you can think of. Do you want to hear some?
Yeah.
J.D. Vance. He gave to his Senate campaign.
Okay.
Lauren Handjob Boebert.
Oh,
Gave her money.
Beetlejuice.
Nancy, I'm going to fight you in a bathroom, Mace.
Yep.
Love to give her money.
She's always in a bathroom, that
He
one.
even threw some money way back in the day to Florida Secretary of State Katherine Harris. Do you remember that name?
No.
She was played by Anna Gastmeyer on SNL.
Okay.
In the early 2000s during the Bush-Gore Florida recount drama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the Secretary of State who was in charge of the recount, who muddied a bunch of the different shit. And in fact, he gave her money afterwards when she ran for Congress in 2002. In 2021, he gave $50 million to Texas Governor Greg Abbott to form border wall and protection services against the, quote, influx of immigrants. And he did that by posting on a public forum that is run by the Texas government saying, trying to reach you. Dead
Are
serious.
you kidding me?
He gave over $1 million to Arizona Governor Jan Brewer to push and defend Arizona laws that she had got through the government there that basically turned Arizona State Police into de facto ICE agents.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. In a rare interview with Bloomberg in 2020, because he has not given a lot of interviews, Mellon admitted that a $2,700 contribution he made to the House campaign of a then very upstart progressive candidate named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, was intended to boost a politicians whose lefty politics Mellon believed could wrong foot mainstream Democrats. When AOC's campaign discovered this and tried to return the donation, Mellon bragged of foiling that too, insisting, quote, he'd never cash or deposit the check, but rather he'd frame it and put it on his wall.
Again, $2,700 is not a lot of money.
No.
That's like, to this guy?
Yeah, but again, he's not giving it to a undisclosed PAC. To give directly to campaigns, there are caps.
There's limitations.
There's limitations.
Yeah.
So he cut a little bit of money, and he uses his money sometimes to troll. He has given money to some Democrats, though.
Yeah.
AOC specifically gave to, again, that idea of to take out, the guy she ran against was a very long-term congressman and all these different things. And actually, there's now things, and people have been talking about whether or not he was supposed to replace Nancy Pelosi, which is the reason she stuck around so long, because she actually didn't want Hakeem Jeffries to become the majority leader of the Democratic Party in the House.
Because they hate having anybody young and strong to come in and help.
But also specifically in the leadership position, you want somebody who's been there longer because maybe they have more chance of understanding what's at stake and all those different things.
No.
I know. But also, Hakeem Jeffries is a big old bitch. Fuck Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, there he is.
Apoc Shakur. Anyway, Mellon has also previously offered financial support to Democrats who were notorious for being thorns in the side of party leadership.
Okay.
Guys like West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin and Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, both of which are no longer in the Senate.
Yeah.
They have constantly succeeded in downsizing Democratic policy ambitions. Both eventually became independents. Mellon also donated to Tulsi Gabbard when she was running as Democratic presidential candidate in 2019. Mm-hmm. You might know her now as being the director of national intelligence under the Trump administration and is trying to constantly and consistently blame Obama for some weird shit. She's trying to come up with ways to just arrest Democrats, but she's always been a psyop. Mellon has given $10 million to the House GOP super PACs in 2024. Mm-hmm. So that's different super PACs. And this one's particularly that was supposed to get members of the House of Representatives elected on behalf of Republicans. He gave $4 million to the Sentinel Action Fund, which is run by the Heritage Foundation. Oh. And the Republican Senate Leadership Fund got $30 million directly to help elect Republicans into the Senate. And as we said at the very beginning, around $150 million to Trump super PACs like MAGA Inc. and others. The Mellon family as a whole is worth $14.1 billion, according to Forbes magazine. The Mellon family has founded the National Gallery of Art in D.C., and they've heavily contributed to the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond, Virginia. Carnegie Mellon University was founded by the Mellon brothers and Andrew Carnegie Institutes coming together, and the Mellon family has also had financial ties to Gulf Oil, also known as Chevron, Alcoa, Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Newsweek, General Motors, Pan Am, Westinghouse Electric, and so many more.
I forgot you have to buy the newspapers for a minute.
Yeah.
I forgot you have to buy the media.
Yeah,
I was like, they don't own everything. They don't own the media yet, but they do.
No, they have some media.
They got some media.
They got some media back in there. But don't worry, they also, I've left out how many hate groups he's literally directly funded.
Why do you leave them out? What are they?
Because I wanted to save them as a boom at the end. This is how I boom you.
You're booming
You boom me with Kat Von D. I'm going to boom you with a bunch of Southern Poverty Law Center designated hate groups like the Center for Immigration Studies, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, the Colcom Federation, an anti-immigration group, and Numbers USA, another anti-immigration group that they absorbed. Numbers USA absorbed a group called Californians for Population Stabilization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he giving them money.
Oh, he's funding them completely.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are hate groups that are they're like edge hate groups. So they put out statistics that then people like Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes or others will then point to and go, well, look at these statistics that came from FAIR, Federation for American Immigration Reform. And then senators can also call these guys up.
Yeah.
But when looked at by groups like the SPLC and others, they're like, this is clearly a hate group. They clearly hate people who are not white.
Yeah.
Like they clearly have specific animosity towards minority groups and things like that.
Yeah.
So these are all...
So they're going to skew the numbers.
The numbers are skewed. They're also pushed in these very different ways. Robert Reich. Have you heard of Robert Reich?
Wait a minute. I've heard of Robert Reich.
Yeah. You probably heard about him from Dropout TV. Sam Reich is his son.
Yeah.
Robert Reich was also the Secretary of Labor under
our
President Clinton.
Yeah.
He does a lot of really great content online. He
Yeah.
has a recent Substack article where he brought up Andrew Mellon. And he asserts in his article that public policies that were pushed by Andrew Mellon in the 20s, cutting the real estate tax by half, whittling down the top income tax rate from 73% to 25%, allowing him to shift so much of his fortune to heirs tax-free, setting the stage for immense wealth, and more, specifically enabling his grandson Tim to bankroll the Trump campaign today. Andrew Mellon is directly responsible for so many things, but mostly by making his grandson so fucking rich that he could bankroll the horror that we're seeing. Tim Mellon is the product of a tax system pioneered by his grandfather that allows the perpetuation of dynastic wealth and the maintenance of its political power, wrote Reich. Tim Mellon rages against only handouts that goes to those born without silver spoons.
Yeah, he loves a handout.
He loves it.
As long as it comes from his daddy.
Forbes magazine has declared that Tim Mellon has likely donated more than half his fortune to politics in their recent headline. Mellon says he isn't a billionaire, but Forbes estimates Mellon has worth around $1 billion before all of his donations over the past year, based on his inheritance and proceeds from the sale of his railroad company. Depending on how much he really is worth, he's given anywhere from 20% to more than 30% to Trump, and some 50% of his fortune to political causes of some sort or another. Mind you, 50% is much higher than the fucking tax rate he claims he's battling.
You're so concerned about how your taxes are being used, but you're giving the politicians all your money.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you're going to give away all your money, like, give it away to something good.
Yeah.
Not politicians.
And what's crazy is that they've interviewed people in his life. And like I said early on, I think when you see the big shift happen in 2018, I think part of that is the Trump election, but also Bunny being gone and the network of people that would have been around. Because when people talk to him, they say he's always been a contrarian. He's always been kind of a crank. He's always been a Republican, but something has changed. Something is different. He can't claim this is about taxes.
Yeah.
There's a deep corruption and hate in his heart that he is gleefully throwing money at like a lunatic right now. And this is really like when people are like, why should taxes be raised? It's because this money has poisoned his brain.
Yeah. That, and I really do think the Bunny passing away, a group of people surrounding him that kind of kept him in line socially. Yeah. Because you're saying he's a contrarian. He's definitely always been one of those people. A born wealthy contrarian, I can think of nothing worse. Mm-hmm. Like, an asshole to be around. And then he gets isolated by the death of his stepmom. And then what's he doing? He's at home. He's clicking on the TV. Beep-up-up. And then just like millions of everybody's boomer dads, he gets fucking propagandized to hate everybody. And then it's just like those MAGA people that you see where like they're so viscerally happy hurting other people and then pretending they have the moral high ground. And it's gross. You can see it in the sneer of their lips and their vicious little eyes.
And we've seen it, the amount of people who've been posting shit about people losing SNAP benefits or losing their health care, losing all these other different things. And this is all part of that fuel. And the thing is, the big difference between Tim Mellon and Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and all these other fucking billionaires is that Tim's family was smart enough that until very recently were able to keep him in the background.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why he backed RFK Jr. He's given money. Remember, this is the exact guy who gave $130 million so Trump could claim that the troops are still being paid.
That's only like $100 per troop.
Yes.
And that's not a lot.
Thank you all for listening, watching, and enjoying. I will tell you what is a lot. What? Everybody who supports us over on Patreon, everybody who gives us a comment, 5 stars, a like, and more.